that's watching, or maybe you haven't kind of experienced that type of range pressure that DUI was under, one of the ways that BGA probably gets that range pressure is just by simply having air and fire sigils on a lot of their casters. And it might not be both, could just be the combination of maybe that and energy, maybe one of those fire over air to begin with. But if they are running the double proc, just spamming a one fireball, if you hit for 1.5k with a fireball but then get the extra procs, you're going to be hitting for about 4k just with one attack, and you can do that every couple of seconds because of the low cooldown on those sigils. So I think that's a lot of what BGA is doing. It wouldn't surprise me if they're not using it. It would even enhance it a little bit more. But DUI is really going to have to answer with that type of range pressure and better capitalize on when they are using their walls of reflect, and use them closer. I feel like they're using them too far away right now from BGA, that they're using it at like 1200, 1400 range right now. That's really not doing them a lot of good. I think if they get a little bit closer and maybe use them in the 300 to 600 range of the BGA melee, they can push immediately afterwards and capitalize better on when they're pushing and try to get more pressure on BGA and maybe force them downs.
Another thing, Drigan, I know you're watching from Red on Red, but because I'm on the X-Men on DUI side, there's actually a lot more red circles coming down from BGA side than DUI side, so I feel like their casters aren't playing aggressively enough with their pressure. They're simply just not using their skills as much as BGA is. I know that's kind of hard for you to tell like whose circles are who because you're watching Red on Red, but that's definitely playing part of the issue, as well as their casters are not being aggressive
it's about
enough.
to start. Or it is.
Alright, and we do have this 5th round going ahead. It's 4-0 in favor of BGA. Some stealthing now on time from DUI, and it looks like they're going to push in, and really they're just going to bait back, and now we're back. It's block number 1 where we were last time, but we still do have some of the casters stealth from BGA.
Oh, DUI.
And early on, we got some walls of reflect going up from the BGA side of things, and that Ranger is just tearing apart. He has a Thief low already. Thief is at about 10%. And now we have it looks like a stealth, and we might see a commit here from DUI, but they get static, and that static is going to dissuade them and pull them back. We do see a Rock Dog, so someone in there is using Runes of the Ogre. And DUI is still pulling up on the north side. We did have one down there from BGA, so maybe DUI is recovering, and it looks like they're going to commit here on a full push, and they're getting slowed down by chills, but they do finally leap in, and then they're being pretty aggressive, and there are a couple of casters right there for BGA that are a little bit out of position. Some meteors going down as the counter bombs and the bombs go off, and we have a low Guardian, and a Guardian is down now from DUI. We have 2 down from DUI, and a 3rd down. They're going to get bannered and rally in favor of BGA, so we have 2 down from DUI there as they're pinned back against this corner, trying to DUI is really trying to crank up the pressure right here and not give them as much room to work at. And now we have 4 liches coming out from BGA, so that's 4 necros in a 15 versus 15, which is not very common, but DUI kind of withstanding it. They shouldn't have come out of that wall of reflect. That was a bad idea, as they're just going to expose themselves to 4 liches to the face. And I can't see how they're really staying alive here, but none of them go down, and finally one of them does go down, but they're going to be really weak after this, and BGA is just going to be able to go on a full push. We have 1, 2, 3 down for DUI, 1 down for BGA. BGA rallies, 2 down for DUI still, and DUI goes out, and that round is going to be over just like that, with BGA trying to crank up the pressure but not really able to capitalize on it, and that round is going to go in favor of DUI, making this a 5-0, or in favor of BGA, making that a 5-0 set in 7 total matches.
Yeah, I'm loving it. I mean, you see there, the DUI had a little more success at the moment, just pushing a little deeper into them and being aggressive at the start. I mean, they faulted on a few things there, which obviously led to their downfall, but it was a lot better.
At
A
the
lot
same
more
time,
interesting.
did you see, there's like a disconnect between DUI's melee group and their gank group. When DUI's gank group went in, they actually got a down off to the one of the sides, and DUI failed to push that. And when DUI's melee didn't actually push it, their gank were back in Africa near their spawn and blasting stealth. So I feel like if they, coordinated when they're going to do damage, and they coordinated a lot better, they'd have more success with pushes like that. I feel like also DUI's Necros don't really drop their wells unless like DUI's melee is there. Like when there was that down, I would have yelled at all my necros to cast all their wells in that down, but it just didn't happen. So.
And I am getting corrected right now in chat. There was 5 liches coming out for BGA, so that's 1/3 of BGA's comp right now is necros in a 15 versus 15, and even 5 in a 20 versus 20 is one thing, and it sounds like they're using 5 in a 15 versus 15, so it's no wonder that DUI is getting a little bit punished when they come out, and they really made a fatal mistake right there when they kept cranking up the pressure, even when in the face of those liches. They had a wall of reflect, it was good, it was up there, they were behind it, and it was kind of protecting them, keeping them a little bit safe, but then they exposed themselves and ran straight up to the necros, straight up to 5 liches to the face, and any melee can tell you that's not going to be really good at the end of the day in favor of the melee, and that just took all the juice that DUI had left, and maybe it was just kind of a last-ditch effort, maybe their driver had gone down, I'm not sure. But that was definitely a mistake on that end, and in which case they need to. I like the aggression, but they need to dial it better and decide when it needs to be, when the foot needs to go on the throttle.
Did you guys already talk about Scepter Ellie they have?
Yep, Scepter Focus.
Okay.
It's the same one that was playing yesterday, but I think he's moved to Condi.
I definitely did like, though, the thing you said about the DUI's gank, how they came in, they stealthed in, they generated a down off of that, they just couldn't finish it. But like with that distraction, usually if you can put one person down and distract and then put another person down right afterwards, it definitely helps you right there and lets you gain momentum and start a snowball effect.
So if I'm DUI right now, I'm looking at obviously the things that we've been trying to do. They definitely did try to change something that round compared to the rounds prior, but they really only tried to change play style from what I could tell, and that was by cranking up the level of aggression, and it did get them to pin back BGA into the corner, but that really just worked in favor of BGA with DUI's aggression. So if I'm looking at the changes now, the playstyle change, it didn't work. I'm gonna have to definitely look at the composition and try to figure out what we can add and maybe make some drastic changes right now to try to get better range pressure and kind of minimize the effect of the necromancers and all of the rangers from BGA.
Yeah, I just feel like they need to push. Like I would just push kind of aggressively. If you run, I'm sure Kai already talked about it before I got here, but I would probably run like Hammer with JI and just JI in on all those necros. Because you gotta get in somehow, and then have your gank going at the same time as you. Better than
it's called Jimmy, man. If you JI and
we made that work.
and merciful intervention out, man. Just think it's the new melee trait. Just no one's applied it yet.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, buddy?
How's it going, Kyle?
Welcome
bad.
to the booth of about 1,000 casters, and
How have these fights been so far? I mean, I can see the score, but
BGA coming out with a very cancer comp with full plus Condi Necros, or full plus Condi Venom Share Thieves on top of 5 Necros.
And they're ready to go full pirate ship.
Yeah, they have 10
With the condition
casters. Yeah, with the
Wow,
conditioned Scepter Focus Ellie, so very pirate ship, very cancer kind of composition.
Yeah, they need the Jimmy. Needs to happen.
Yeah, I think if DUI
Right
can
now-
just get a solid push onto those Necros actually, because I'm only seeing 1 warrior for BGA, so it's only 1 banner, so if they can get that banner out and
Yeah, that's
continue
precisely
to
why.
secure downs.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting. That's precisely why they need to punish downs. Like, I don't see wells being casted on downs that should be. And I don't see melee pushes on downs that gank generates. I don't see gank pushing him when melee does. It just looks sloppy. It's like a disconnect that needs to be fixed in the next few rounds, I think, if they're gonna win.
Also just a lack of ranged pressure from DUI.
Well, to be fair, I see 2 of DUI's necros actually applying, right? I think it was NFN and 1 more person. That was one.
Right now, if I'm DUI, the changes that I personally would make against BGA, against this group that has very few melee, And shoot, I'm not gonna have time to finish this thought as I'll hold it to the next round. Is 6th round is underway. Some early stealthing going out from each side. A Shadow Refuge that got one of their Scepter Ellies from BGA revealed, but we are into the pirate ship full mode as we have the first wall of reflection coming out from BGA. And both sides, Pure and 1, still a lot more of it coming out from the BGA side of things as they kind of collapse on an overextended Thief. It kind of got caught out, and he makes it back into stealth, and he's safe. So we still got the split. BGA on the left, on the south side, DUI on the right, up north. Some marks coming down from both sides. Still so much more pew coming out from the BGA side of things, from their rangers especially. You see a rapid fire going off every 5 seconds, it seems like, from the combo of the 2 rangers that BGA is using, and DUI is just kind of trying to hold their ground but not really able. BGA Melee doing a masterful job of just being patient and letting DUI push in whenever they got it. And we have some immobs, and it looks like the BGA or the DUI driver is caught out. He does use his elite, and so he gets back to safety. Looks like they're going to be going for a regroup, but a lot of spamming ones going off from each side, and a couple of wells dropped close to BGA, but nothing happened. That's kind of a waste of wells, as the DUI Necro that got the wells off is getting punished so much to the point that he is down up north. He's actually going to get stomped out, looks like, and he is fully downed. They weren't able to get the banner or the res in time, and another DUI is down in the middle. That's a warrior down for DUI, and he gets punted, and he is down. So we have a meteor out right now from BGA. BGA is shirking over to the right. DUI is going to try to commit again, try to be aggressive as much as possible, but we have a Thief down from DUI now, and that's gonna really hurt them as far as the range battle goes. And another one down. It's a Necro down for BGA finally, and the BGA Necromancer is going to get down, so maybe that's going to be a little bit of relief, a little bit of a morale booster for DUI as they're kind of separating back again. We have a BGA Elementalist that's really out of position. He's out in front of the melee group. And he's finally getting punished a little bit. He's going to have to pull back to regroup.
There's
as
a GI
all of BGA. All of BGA is pulling back to regroup, and now we have a lot of wells going down, a lot of damage, and we do have one DUI warrior. He's going to go down, and I don't think there's going to be a banner for him, as that is the second or maybe third warrior that's out, and he is down. So this match is definitely in favor of BGA once again, as this is probably a 14-on-10 at this point, with not a whole lot of casters. It looks like there's maybe a 50-50 split between caster and melee for DUIs. They're going to try to play it a little more patient and let BGA push up to the north and maybe get more aggressive, but that's not really going to work as BGA has their style and they're just going to play it. And DUI finally committing on someone overextended over there on the east side. BGA just putting down a wall of range pressure, and they get 2 down. And there's 3 down from DUI now. We have a Mesmer down up to the north, and there is a banner that comes off from somewhere on DUI. Somehow they pulled that out. I'm not sure where that came from. But that Mesmer is going to get hard res up there on the north, it looks like, along with another member, as some range pressure and some wells are still coming out from BGA, and it's just constant pressure, constant harass right now. And we do have another DUI that's caught out on the out behind, and that must have been the warrior that got that banner off, and there's still a Guardian down for DUI. And a BGA Guardian that's getting hard res. So this match is over and in favor of BGA, making it 6-0 on this set.
So one change it looks like DUI made is I definitely saw Parabot DUI's driver JIing into a bunch of their casters, so
They had 4
they're looking
down
to try and
at
get
one
those
point.
engages. Yeah.
See that Whitehelm?
Yeah.
They had 4 down.
The problem with what DUI is doing, in my opinion, is they have their driver who is leaping in or JIing or whatever it may be, just a lot ahead of time after, before anyone else. And when that happens, that can work as long as you get people following and some type of cohesion behind it. But if your driver's leaping in and you're not, then what happens is those warriors come in and leap in late when the damage is there and then get blown up and go down. And that's what happened to all those warriors from DUI that went down, is they try and catch up to the frontline train, and when you do that, the damage is already placed, you're not through it, and then you just get eaten up. And Shout Warrior has no way of blocking or anything like that. You either dodge or you're just gonna get killed.
Going back to my thought before that round started, a couple of the changes that I would personally make were that DUI has kind of in the pocket that they